And hey, everybody, we are live on Facebook with our show today. Yeah, I've had some sinus drainage stuff going on, so Tom's probably on top floor. I might end up getting some water here. It just gets rough.
You have some? Let's see. We'll tell Megan to go bring us some water.
Facebook. Woo! With our show today. Yeah. There we go. So while he gets everything shared out and everything done, the concept we came up with today is that cutting through the noise, right? Everything is over dramatized. I got inspired by the news today because two things happened. As a school, we were looking at closing the school, right? Because Hurricane Michael was coming through. It's hitting close to Florida, and the governor of Georgia declared a state of emergency for 92 counties, 91 counties, somewhere there. It came all the way up to Jasper County. It almost got to us as the state of emergency stuff. And that's not what bothered me. What bothered me is that I'm trying to actually see, one, it's hard to get a predictive radar anymore, it seems like. Used to, you go to weather.com, boom, radar, and you can see paths, you can see predictions, and you can't, it's hard to find that now. So I've gotten a little stupid video, and there's this weather lady that's going, basically preaching hell and brimstone. Death and destruction is coming for everybody. It's the third worst hurricane to hit landfall in the United States in 10 years. And blah, blah. Well, that's true.
Every one of them, don't they?
I guess. I don't know. But it could be true for Panama. I mean, I've seen some of the aftermath of Panama Beach and Mexico Beach. I mean, it's bad. It is very
really
bad. It got flattened. It is very bad. We're not downplaying any of that. What I am downplaying is she's talking about Georgia. Right? She said, oh, it's going to be a horrible. But you see the map behind her, and the map behind her is like 100 miles an hour to here on this day, and then 45. And then it's just this progression of it's going to go away. But, oh, my God, you're going to die if you're doing. And it drove me. I can't get the truth. I can't figure out if we need to close school or not. So I went to other weather apps. And it was just saying rain for Covington. And it was saying it's just going to rain. That's it. The wind would be 10 miles an hour. The next day it's supposed to rain. People were calling and saying, hey, on Wednesday, do we have to come to class? Right? Yeah, it's just rain. And we're talking about that. What you have to do in the field and all that stuff. Wednesday morning, I get up at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever. Bright, sunny. The clouds have parted. It is fine. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm glad we didn't cancel school because we debated on canceling school because we were going to call out. Now, that being said, like we have a student in South Georgia who had some damage to his home. They've got widespread power outages down in Albany and Pelham where he is and that kind of thing. And he's not going to be able to do his clinical tomorrow. And we get that. And our hearts are with you, and we're not downplaying any of the damage. But the next morning I get up. That morning where the sun is out, it's Wednesday morning, and I turn on the radio, and then the little news blip comes on. And when I say news blip, I'm talking about that top of the hour. They've got a minute. They've spent 30 seconds on every story or whatever. And it's like, literally, this was the story. Hurricane Michael has left a path of death and destruction through the state of Georgia and Florida. One girl who was 7 years old has died because the wind picked up a carport, not a tree that was originally reported. It picked up a carport, which hit the roof, punctured the roof, and hit her in the head, and she died. In other news, I'm like, what is this crap we're listening to?
And it just went to other news. Like, it was like they were trying to just sensationalize that this little girl passed away.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Which is horrible. And our prayers and thoughts are with her and her family. And not trying to downplay it or anything, but it was like the media just wanted to use it to their advantage versus a real news story, trying to get the facts out there. It's kind of like with what happened up in Charlotte. Every time you turn around, the news was, you had news reporters standing in ditches, up to their chest, when in reality all the camera people were in like 2 inches of water. You had cameramen acting like, oh my God, the wind's blowing me away. And in the background, you got people just nonchalantly walking around like it's no big deal. And they're making it out worse than it really is. And like we got inundated over the last few days. Oh, we're going to cancel classes. And we even had students talking to other students, and students were coming to us saying, oh, we're not coming to school tomorrow. It's going to be so bad tomorrow. And the
It was
next day,
sunny
it was
and beautiful all day.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So if you didn't come to school and you don't have a good reason why, it's an unexcused absence, period. I mean, sorry.
And I didn't know what the death toll was then. But, I mean, and you're right. Everything you said is right. And we would never downplay the death of a daughter, of a child, of anybody, really. It can be an old person. It doesn't matter. It's your family member. But, yeah, the news was just sensationalizing it. Today, I find out the complete death toll from Florida all the way to Virginia, 11. 11. That's a path of death and destruction. And that's why
and in other news, more people died from the flu this week than died from that.
And that's why we want to talk about cutting through the noise, because our students were listening to this. Our students were believing the hype. And that's what we have to cut through as medics and the EMTs in the field. That's exactly what happened. When they call 911, maybe you broke a toe. But depending on who tells the story, like if I tell a story, I have a very high pain tolerance. And I severed my knee. I severed the muscle of my knee, and I was just limping. I was like, hey, give me a hand. I limped off to the side. I knew I needed to go to the hospital because I knew I couldn't bend my knee. But other than that, I was fine.
Yeah.
And the medics who I worked with came and picked me up. I was off duty. They came and picked me up. I'd wrecked a motorcycle. And he's like, professional courtesy, what do you want? You want morphine? I'm like, no, man, I'm good. Let's just get to the hospital. I'm actually okay. We put some ice on it. And found out the muscle was severed. It was gone. So if I tell a story, it's like nothing. Other people will tell a story, they broke their toe, and the world is ending, and y'all need to get a helicopter right now. And it'll just be that totally.
Sorry.
And our students were, so you got to cut through the hype. We're going to talk about all that. But to this thing of
Charles is getting violent.
Our students are listening to the news and they're freaking out. There's a tornado watch and this and that and the other.
Oh, there's a watch.
What does watch mean?
A watch means that the conditions could produce a tornado. One has not been spotted, but it could happen.
And our student that I just talked about being down in South Georgia, he's watching right now. So just in case, Stephen, you came in late, we are saying, damage. We understand damage and stuff. You're good.
And our thoughts are with you, buddy. I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad your family's safe.
Yeah, but so many students here locally that weren't affected by anything but a little bit of rain were believing. And here's what you got to learn.
It's not just that, Charles. It's like there's a bad thunderstorm comes through. We get it all the time. People are like, we're going to have school.
Turtle Cove, those thunderstorms. Holy cow.
Yeah, or we're going to have school tomorrow. It's raining.
Yeah.
People, you're getting into EMS. You have to come to work. Doesn't matter. And if you can't make it to work, they'll send an ambulance to come get you to make you go to work.
Yeah. I had that happen. Well, they offered it. I should have taken it because I ended up putting my truck in the ditch. But they offered to come pick me up when there was some ice on the roads in Madison, Georgia, when I lived there. I was like, no, the roads are mostly clear. It's fine. I did. I got all the way to Fairplay Station, started to turn into the station, hit a little ice. And went
donuts. Tell the truth.
Hey, statute of limitations are not up. Yeah, I'm not telling nothing. I slid on the road in the ice. But yeah, they'll come get you. And that's the thing. And honestly, I did. I started getting a little snippy with people. Well, are we going to call? Okay, I try to be professional. Steve has wrapped my hand enough. I try to put a smile. No, we're going to have class tomorrow, people. But I literally, it's just rain. I told somebody on the phone, I don't notice who it was, because that's another problem we got to tell people about communication. When you call to school, don't just jump into your question. Tell us who you are, because we talk to a bunch of people all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were worried that, are we going to, I said those words, it's just rain. You do know that when you're in the ambulance, and even in a hurricane, you will have to go out and run calls. Now, I imagine the ambulance centers in Panama City Beach probably were not running calls. They're probably locked down.
There comes a point, like whenever it gets about 60 to 65 miles an hour, they shut down operations until it gets by. I've worked a couple hurricanes when I lived down on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. I mean, there is a danger factor that's like, no, you're just going to have to wait. Anytime we see the floods in lowlands like Mississippi and New Orleans and Louisiana, those states, South Carolina flooded at one point recently, and you just have to wait till it stops being dangerous. and then the rescues go out. But you come up to South Georgia, I bet that there are plenty of ambulances running and fire trucks running in South Georgia.
And the thing is that people were calling us wanting us to close, and there were no high schools closing. The DMV wasn't closing, and
Right.
that's a good indicator that we're not going to close as well. If the high school's open, and yesterday I was driving to Dobbins Air Force Base doing classes at Dobbins Air Force Base, and in the morning it was raining pretty good, and
Yeah.
kids were standing at the school bus stop in the rain. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? If these kids can go to school, our adults can go to school.
Oh, and A.B. Rabin says to that point of you have to show up. You might have to come in 12 hours early to make sure you make it to your shift. I've heard of hospitals making nurses come in like, hey, it's going to snow tonight. You got to be here by 7 o'clock tonight for your shift tomorrow morning.
Yep.
And we'll put you in a hospital room. You'll bunk up with people. And when you wake up, you'll be at work. Because our business is not to stop death. Our business is to serve the living, and life goes on. And you got to gather. It's somebody. Now I'd have to go with Vanessa on who. Somebody called at the last minute when I was leaving, and I caught the phones because I was trying to man the phones extra that night because of all the classes starting and everything. And supposedly they got into a wreck, and I don't know if it was a fender bender or what, but they weren't going to make it because of that. I'm like, well, I hate to be a hard ass, but you better bring a police report or doctor's note.
Yeah.
You know.
Unfortunately, some have hurt the many because we've had so many of those, and then them end up not being true.
So there's more than just, and of course we led with these stories because it just happened, and this is what I've been experiencing of you. There's a fine line. In fact, actually, the midday Tuesday, I posted on our Facebook page a picture taken of medics in the rain doing their job on the side of a road, and when it rain or shine, we run. Now, here's the advice I will always give personally. You have to decide what you know is safe for you. Too many people we see so many times. Katrina was one of those. Evacuate, mandatory evacuation, get out. No, I want to stay. And a lot of people died. Because, no, it'll be fine. Well, the levees that had never broken for 40 years broke, and it wasn't fine. So you ignored get out advice. But at the same time, we know in Georgia, it was 2011, I think it was, big ice storm came. And it's Georgia. It's ice. It's whatever. You know, we'll get off the roads for a few hours. The ice will clear up, and we'll be fine. And some people, everybody would drive to where they were going. You just drive slower because it doesn't do it that often here. Well, it was bad enough. People actually got stuck on the side of the road for 2 days or maybe a day. You know, hotels were filling up. People were getting stuck. Police patrols were going through trying to rescue people before it got too bad. It was something we weren't prepared for. And the powers that be, the governor at the time, the advisors, ignored the warning signs that were coming. No, we really need, no salt trucks are ready, all that jazz. So since then, if it gets to 34 degrees and somebody starts spitting, it goes to a state of emergency for the state, and you better lock it down. Snowpocalypse, yeah.
Where's bread? Must get bread. Milk.
Those milk sandwiches are a must.
Heck yeah.
You know.
Bread, milk.
2013. Rachel Tyler says 2013. I knew I was close. Thank
Fill
you,
the bathtub up with water.
Yeah. But so now the state overreacts to a point, right? They declare these state of emergencies. Even to this past January, I want to say it is, we had one night of snow and ice, and we knew it was coming in about 11, 12 o'clock, you know, at night. And it was coming, and they're saying they weren't shutting down roads yet. They did end up shutting them down overnight for about 8 to 10 hours until stuff cleared and salt got put out. They said stay off the roads, and they started warning. I called, and this is why I say you've got to judge. You've got to judge what's safe for you, and you got to judge sometimes. I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do that. And in the case of school, right? Mm-hmm. You can say, you know what? I just don't feel safe in this rain. I think it's going to get worse. I'm not coming. I will accept the consequences of that, which means you'll have to pay to make up a lab. That's fine. That's the last part of that post that I made was you have to decide what's good for you and safe for you. but you have to. That doesn't belay the consequences that are to come. There are probably people who decide they want to come Wednesday rather, and then woke up in the sunny and bright Wednesday there and made plans and didn't go. I don't know. Maybe the whole class showed up. We had a good attendance last night. It only was maybe 1 or 2 out of 30, if anybody didn't come. That was for weather reasons. But this past year, I called up. I have a Friday night gig that I do every Friday night from 9 to midnight, and we knew the weather was saying, by dark it's going to really start getting really, really cold. By 10 it's going to start snowing. By midnight it's going to freeze. So I called and was like, hey, it's an outdoor bar. Now they have the heaters, they have the little protections, but it's an outdoor bar. And I called them up and I'm like, are y'all going to be up tonight? And the guy's not there anymore. I talked to, but he was all grumpy. He's like, yeah, my people have to come in. You have to come in. I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to be a butthead about this, but do you really think people are going to come sing karaoke when the snow is coming?
Heck yeah.
Well, that's what he said too, and he was wrong because me and 2 other people were there, and I realized that night I'm just always going to be, nope, sorry, penalize me, raise hell with the company that books me. Fine, I'll accept those consequences. I'm not driving. So I drove all the way out there, mentally worried. Now the roads were actually decently okay. I didn't really feel like I was in danger, but mentally I was stressed going, will I be in danger? For 3 people, and nobody cared. And we shut down early because nobody's coming out. You have to take your consequences. Laura said she wanted to sing Baby It's Cold Outside. Norm said only 2 missed. So, and that's something you have to, because Laura says, I do laugh at most of the severe weather stuff. You got to learn to pick through. And we're using weather right now to be an allegory. We're going to get into the medicine.
And I posted something back too for Laura, is that sometimes I feel like that, especially here in Georgia and here of lately, they overhype it and they think they're protecting us. They're like, oh, we'd rather be overcautious than undercautious. But too many times they're saying, oh, there's a tornado warning, seek shelter. And everybody stops, shuts down their businesses, runs in the shelter, cancels their plans and everything, and they go run in the basement, get down, everybody's scared. You sit there for like 15, 20 minutes, and nothing happens. Okay, the first time they're like, oh, thank God, we're good, we're safe. A couple weeks later, it happens again. Same thing. Oh, we're lucky, nothing happened. Maybe a limb's down in the yard, and that's it. Okay. Happens again.
Yeah.
Oh, run. We gotta run. Gotta hide under the table. Nothing happens.
Yeah.
At what point do you start going, hold on, let's wait and let's see what happened. And that's when people are going to get hurt.
Yes.
Complacency sets in. And I think someone's being too cautious is because they were like talking about, oh yeah, we got debris, we can see in the radar, we got debris in downtown Atlanta. They were saying there's a tornado in downtown Atlanta and we have debris in the clouds and everything, and this is real thing. Get your shelter now. And I was outside looking like, I don't see anything. A little windy, but I don't see anything. It's supposed to be right over the top of us. But I don't see, and there was nothing. It was just some wind and rain. And sure enough, nothing. Did anybody hear about tornadoes going through the middle of Atlanta this weekend?
No.
No. But they were saying it on the news for about 5-10 minutes, and then they quit. So, at what point are people going to become to the point where, oh, I'm not? There's been so many false warnings. That
and that's what we try to educate patients on. You go, oh, I'm dying so many times. And we come out to residence 10, 15 times over the last 6 months. When you actually start dying, you're going to have jaded paramedics who don't believe you and nurses and doctors who don't believe you. And I feel, follow me here, I do feel bad for the drug seekers. Not that they're drug seeking, because those are choices that possibly they've made and they could seek help instead. But I do feel bad about them that they seek drugs, and then when something happens, they really need something. One, either they built up the tolerance and it won't work, or two, a doctor just won't believe them because they've dealt with them drug seeking forever. And that's the problem. Jasper County, talking about the warnings, they had that tornado warning system that you could hear at the lake. And we'd be in the middle of the day and they would test it out and you'd hear the tornado sirens. And probably into Newton County and Greene County and some of the other surrounding counties. It was loud. I literally had a tornado go across the street from me, and it does not sound like a train, by the way. I mean, because storms on the lake were horrible. I mean, you were out there too.
Yep.
It was like God shook the earth. Sometimes the thunder was bigger, the rain was bigger, everything was bigger on the lake. And so we just figured it was really long rumbling thunder. The next day we go out and I noticed some trees out across the street from us, and there's a clear cut path where that thing went through. Never heard a siren. Not once.
I remember that because I was living down there too.
Were you at the time?
Yeah. Did you remember smelling it smelled like pine saw? Mm-hmm. Because that was the trees.
The trees.
It smelled like fresh pine saw. Smelled good.
Yeah, it did. And I mean, we had a EMT of ours. Their house got destroyed at that point.
I remember that.
That was.
What's her name?
Not Pope.
Yeah, Lisa Pope.
Yeah, it was Lisa Pope, I think.
And them.
They had something happen to them. Yeah, so yeah. But never once did that siren go off.
Yep.
You know, and there was at least 4 or 5 tornadoes. I mean, they weren't category, weren't the finger of God tornadoes. They were like category
but they
ones.
Were enough to make some damage.
They did. I mean, there was a clear. My kids played there for a while too.
Even if you're going down 36, you can see where it touched down there.
Yeah.
36, but close to the trailer park.
Close, but no cigar.
No cigar. They missed it.
So this really is not about weather. It is about you've got to have what's called discernment. You have to start figuring out the difference between panic and reality, because you'll get dispatchers depending on your system. The more professional systems is all computerized. They just type in what's been told to them, right? And you go to this thing, and you really don't get a whole lot of radio updates. But you get out in the countryside, and you'll get old Frank out there going, "Oh my God, they're dying. You need to get out there. Now turn right at the old pine tree that fell down 3 years ago."
When that storm came through.
Yeah, when that storm. And I've worked in most systems, and I've learned. We had. And I feel bad saying this because I might be a little hard to understand with my voice today. But we had an Ebonics dispatcher that literally all of us had to get on radio and go, "Would you repeat?" Because you would not understand a word they said. And then it got worse when they got excited, because anytime somebody called me, "I think my daddy's having a heart attack." "Oh, you need to be en route." I mean, screaming in the radio.
Yeah.
You've got, as medics, you have to cut through that.
Cut through it. And whenever you get on scene, it's going to be somebody's having chest pain. Oh, it's the big one. Oh, it's coming to get me. When in reality, it's drama. And you can't just... If somebody's having chest pain, you got to take it kind of serious. You cannot just say, "Oh, it's just drama." But you have to make those notes. And you have to be able to report, like, "Hey, they've been in an argument, there's some tension going on." Because, stress and drama can cause a heart attack. I mean, that's one of the causes of it.
Yeah.
But so if that's one of the causes of it, what's one of the treatments of it? To remove that stress. So you have to kind of get through, and if it's the stress is between a husband and wife, or a father and his son, or something like that, you may need to separate them to calm the situation down so that you can treat your patient. And that's what we always got to be on the lookout for too, and to get down to what the real issue is to figure out.
Ooh, I got a good one for you. That's just inherent drama, and we use drama as a negative word. It really isn't. It's a descriptor. It is a descriptor of something that's like comedy. It's something that's funny. Drama is something that's serious or heart-wrenching. Tragedy is heartbreaking. But we do use drama because a lot of times it is used in ways that are just negative. But here's one that you have to be careful with. And we're about to get into a sensitive topic here, so everybody...
Well, Patrick Carey's about to get you.
Yeah, I know. I see him. I understand what I'm about to get into a serious medical issue here. But... what you have to be careful with is when somebody's been raped. Because as a ginormous male, I've dealt with it twice. And both times were average to small size females. And I'm very sensitive to that. We had very pointed training in EMT school and paramedic school, and even some continuing education stuff of here's how you deal with that. So I was making sure I stayed down below our level. I was speaking low tones because it's a very tragic thing. Here's what you got to be careful with, because it's dramatic in your mind. You're taking all these extra steps to make sure you don't do anything to add to the trauma, the emotional trauma. But I realized I never really did a good physical exam on those patients. So there might have been actual trauma that I needed to fix and I missed because I got caught in the drama of it going, oh, let me not make this worse. I'm going to stay back, kid gloves, talk, and I didn't do my job. Now, obviously, I wouldn't examine her below, but I should have. I'm going to get a blood pressure. I'm going to check, are you hurting anywhere else?
And
I
ask
didn't.
those difficult questions.
Exactly. And I didn't. I didn't do my job because I got caught in the drama. And what else? What else you got coming up in your mind when I say stuff like that?
Well, whenever you get on these scenes and you got so much going on around, you got to kind of filter out the stuff that is not relevant to the scene, and especially like whenever you're talking to a patient, you can talk to your elderly patients, and you ask them their history, and they're gonna start telling you stuff that's not relevant to what's going on.
Yeah.
And you got to drill down, like, don't be disrespectful, but in a respectful way. You have to kind of redirect that conversation to get to the point of where you need to be.
Yeah. Oh man.
And make sure you don't overlook because you're listening like, oh, this is just you may think, oh, this is just drama here. And there could be some drama in there, but if you do not follow your steps, you do not do your patient assessment, you should do your patient assessment the same way on every patient every time so you don't miss those things.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that drama, it can be what I call distracting. It's a distractor. Like some injuries are distracting.
Yeah.
When they're really minor injuries that are masking the bad injury.
Surface cuts, bleed,
like that
you're
hematoma
dying.
to the head, that looks really bad, but in reality they got a flail chest because when they fell, they hit their head, but they also hit their rib cage.
Yeah.
And they have, a pneumothorax from a broke rib, and we're sitting there, oh, here's an ice pack. Just calm down. I know it hurts, and they're breathing fast, and you're thinking like, oh, it's just because they're in pain. No, it's because they got a developing pneumothorax from where they broke a rib, and we haven't even checked. So we got to make sure we check all those things.
Then there's the anti-drama, right? Laura made me think of it. She said, grandma's indigestion may really be a heart attack this time.
It can be.
And I had one guy, I told the story a few times, so I'll just narrow it down to the heart attack part. But we had a guy who worked for the DOT that had interacted with us for many years on the highways. And sometimes we got along, sometimes we fight. But we got there and we recognized his address. And he was like, no, I'm just having some indigestion. He was textbook heart attack. I mean, gray, sweating. Yeah, put on the monitor. And I because we don't diagnose in the field, right? I never do hardcore things with patients like, you're having a blank. I'm like, well, we think I finally told him to his face, you're having a heart attack. You will die. I need you to come with me to the hospital, man.
Yeah, I've told people that many times. They're going to die.
And that's the flip side of the drama, right? He was downplaying everything. Now, he had both going on. He was downplaying it. His wife knew something else was going on. That's why she called. The kids were running around like, get a helicopter, get a helicopter. It was like, so I had both I had to deal with. It was not good. What about, Tom, interstation drama or intershift or even interpartner
Is
drama?
there drama at the station? None of that happens, does it?
Never. So moving on to the next topic.
I mean, nobody ever puts your clothes in the freezer, do they?
See, I tried to lead by example and not pull pranks, and you guys would not follow.
What?
You guys were
I don't know
evil.
what you're talking about.
I bet you don't. That's not drama.
I never swapped your mattress for your box spring. Ever. That was not me, Charles.
No, Chris and James did the wake-up call by grabbing both sides of my mattress while I'm on it and yanking it into the floor. And they're like, good morning, sunshine. And they thought it was hilarious. I was like, you better glad I'm too tired to get up and beat somebody. That was not that funny. But no, actual drama when you're fighting with your partner.
Yeah.
When things aren't going well.
Sometimes working in EMS, me at the station, that's like a second family, And unfortunately, families don't always get along, do they?
Right.
But whenever you mess with one of them, they got you back generally.
Generally.
Should be. And, you want to work at a place somewhere that has good rapport with each other,
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I'm not logged in.
You killed something on Facebook.
I killed Facebook.
Okay, I'm going to throw some drama to you. That's personal drama for you. Because I've not gone through it personally, but I have had fights with my wife. I've had that. You cannot separate. You take your family drama from home to your family at work. But you went through an ugly divorce. How did that affect your medicine? What are you flipping on the camera? What are you picking the camera's nose for?
I was just trying to pick the camera's nose there. I think I escaped to the medicine.
Okay.
That's where, when things were going bad, whenever I was going through a divorce and stuff, I went to the medicine because that's where I felt like my family was. People had my back, people I could trust, and delivering, helping people made me feel better. So it helped me.
It helped you lock in and focus.
Yep.
Because it went the other way for my partner, and I won't name his name because he's obviously fixed things. His career's back on track, but he was going through an ugly divorce. But the stress, you know about the stress? That stress was just getting him, and he almost attacked a patient one day. Oh, I mean, they're only a patient by definition because the guy was being in the yard. I think they got in a fight in the yard, the patient and whoever he's with, and they called 911 because he's acting weird. They pull up and he's zoned out and zombied out and won't respond to anything. And we do the I can't remember, did a sternal rub or one of the painful, something's not right here. We know this guy's lying. He's sitting up. He's breathing. So something's not right. When we did a sternal rub, he came around and he started getting mad at us, yelling and stuff. And finally, I talked my partner into leaving because he was paramedic. I think I was still in the EMT at the time. I was like, no, you know what? We're not even going to get a refusal. This thing's crap. We're going to leave. And we start to pull out. The patient is just steady running his mouth. Doesn't matter. We're leaving. But the stress of that ugly divorce he was going through and everything else has been on, he put that thing back in drive. I thought he was going to run the guy over. And he got out, and I'm thinking, I'm going to have to call the cops on my partner at this point.
Well, you remember
and we avoided that, but yeah.
Remember not too long ago, like in Lawrenceville, that happened where two partners got into an argument, got in a fight, and one got in an ambulance, almost ran one over, took off through the neighborhood. And,
yeah.
The police had to come out, and I don't know what service. I didn't forget what service that was, but man, I was like, that's bad.
And
might need to separate those two.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
That's what
All right, more other drama that affects you. Because I'm trying to get back to cutting through the noise. Because these are things that it's hard to have real clear-cut answers on. I mean, when my partner did that, I should have called our boss. It took a while later for the boss to get involved. But I did. I mean, I thought, this is it. We'll have to call the cops, and he's going to get arrested because there's no reason for us to be in this driveway. And he went back aggressive with a D-cell mag light. I'm like, this guy just got to stay out of the way and fix the blood afterwards, And nothing ended up happening. But the politics of the office, right? When you have those shift wars, I'm not talking about the pranks, I'm not talking about the fun stuff. I'm talking about we hate those guys.
Because
everything's wrong. They didn't clean this
and
did
I
that.
come on shift. The truck's not clean. Look, they left the garbage in the in the trash can. They didn't wash the truck yesterday. They only left me 220 gauges.
And they're bitching about the shift before and about the shift after. I mean, it's just, and even sometimes comes from top down.
That's where it comes from. Your leadership has got to stick. Has got to come in. That is a leadership problem there, and sometimes that means the leader has to take. The hard role is saying just shut up. You're here. Did you clock in? You got paid. Clean the truck.
I think you had to do that once or twice.
Yep. You're getting paid to wash the truck. You're here. You know what? Let me deal. The leadership now. That means that the captain needs to be going to that other captain saying, look, my guys are doing your guys' job. And you need to handle it. And if you don't, then that's where the captain or that leadership has to take care of their people. And
did you ever have to go to your boss on something like that where another captain wasn't running their shift right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they wasn't running their shift right, but things were getting let go. And I know that there would be tension there between me and some of the other captains sometimes, especially because we had staff meetings, and you know me, Charles. You know I'd say.
You're a lot like me. Like, here's the crap.
Look, I'm having my guys are getting upset at me because I'm making them, wash the truck. It was truck day yesterday and it didn't get done. I mean, and then Luna would step up, and and people might say things about Luna. Luna he's one of the best, directors I ever worked for.
Okay.
I will say that for him. I mean, it's hard, but when you're not in that director's chair, you don't understand everything they go through. I mean, and same thing, when you're not the ship's commander, you don't understand the balancing act that you have to play. When you're just the paramedic or the EMT down there, all you know is your little world, and this is like, I'm having to clean up somebody else's mess, this is bull. Well, in reality, you clocked in, you're getting paid to do a job. You're not getting paid to sit on the sofa.
Why'd you come in today?
Yeah.
Type of deal.
So then, but we would have shift meeting and things would get better, and it wasn't the captain's problem; it was just the other person's problem, and it takes time. I don't want to fire anybody, and I didn't want to, and neither did those other captains, neither did Luna. You would try your best to remediate and counsel and get people to do their job, but nobody there. You got different levels of people who do good jobs. There's like a level of an adequate job, right? Now, Charles, your level, the organizational level is here.
Yeah.
Your personal level may be here.
Right.
Now, the only thing is that we will all think that everybody needs to be at our personal level.
Yeah,
But
no,
as
that's
a
tough.
supervisor
Right.
and a manager, I'm only able to keep people at the organizational level. I can't bring them to your level. Now, where leadership messes up is that the people who are at this level need to be rewarded more.
Yes,
and
I was
when
going to
you
say that.
reward people more at doing this level, that means that people will bring their level up to match you so that they will get those same rewards, The place that we worked at didn't operate that way. That was a shortcoming of the entire organization. Because if Charles's level was here and my level was here, at the end of the year, whenever everybody was getting pay raises, it didn't matter.
Right. I've actually
Everybody
like
got the
that.
same pay raise
Yeah.
across the board.
Yeah.
And
Or
that's-
worse, the organizational level here and somebody's below the level never meeting it, and they still get the same pay raise.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
what happened. And the same thing at the end of the year, there'd be a yearly bonus. Remember, it wasn't much, but I don't know about you, but at the end of the year at Christmas time, for me, an extra $150, that was a lot of Christmas for me and my family. It still is. I understand there's doctors and respiratory, our anesthesiologist and stuff at the hospital that $150 is nothing to them. But for us paramedics and EMTs, $150, $200 is a lot of money. But what I always felt was unfair is that the bonuses were spread out over all the employees the same. So you could have called out 20 times in a year, right? And you get the same bonus.
Yeah.
And to me,
That's a huge
just,
problem.
and to me, that's not good. Now, that doesn't mean that we need to make it where, okay, Charles is up here, and the organizational standard's here, and my standard is here. It's not quite where Charles's is. Well, this person here, they still get stuff too. But where the problem is the people who just make the standard, or the people that are below the standard, are getting the same raise, and that's just not right,
And so, cutting through that noise, some of the things that are starting to come out now is obviously good leadership.
Yeah.
But if you have bad leadership, well, before we get to bad leadership, good leadership, right? The top has to look after you, and that's the case. Is I actually dropped my standards at the last office I worked at because of what you were just saying. I was documentably way up here, the organizational standard here, and we had somebody never meeting their quota here. And when raises came out, everybody got the same raise across the board. That's when I was like, you know what? My feet are going on the desk. I'm going to hit the quota, which is well below what I was delivering. I'm going to hit the quota, and I'm done. And I worked 10-hour shifts. I hit the quota in 5 hours. I'd spend 5 hours on their money, playing games, watching TV. And they didn't really say anything about it. One, because it wasn't in their face. It wasn't like a cause of a problem making it. But they also understood what happened was, well, we're not going to enforce the rules, and we're not going to reward the good behavior. As long as you make the numbers, we can't do anything. And I was like, that. I hated that. And ultimately, things changed. But communication is key, right? On those calls where the drama is happening, asking the direct questions, getting them back on track. The other day, this guy was over here doing this. And no, why are you hurting today? Why are you calling 911 today? Or with elderly, it's, you don't ask, what kind of illnesses you have or what's going on. You go, what is bothering you right now? Because they'll give you the list of everything that's bothering them. But if what's bothering you right now, they'll tell you. And how does that compare to as it usually is? Yeah. You cut through that noise. But then if you have bad bosses, why are you here? I'm here. And that, if you don't know these answers, you're going to have negative responses or negative feelings all the time. Because to your example of, let's say the captain didn't care about the last shift. Just screw you guys. You're here. Do it. Well, that's bad leadership. Yeah. And that makes me angry.
And sometimes that is. It depends on how you go at it, though. Sometimes it is leadership telling you, well, we got to do it, because that's not just him being a leader. That's the entire shift being a leader.
Yeah.
That's the entire shift saying, you know what, y'all left it like this, but you know what, we're better than this. This isn't going to represent us. We're going to provide excellent care,
right,
and we're going to fix it. However, the captain's job is to be going to that other captain or to the director,
right,
saying, look, this is what our shift did. This is what we're doing. This needs to cease. This needs to stop, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what this sounds like? This whole argument or
what?
This whole conversation sounds like, and not to dabble into politics too much. Sounds like socialism versus capitalism, doesn't it?
Get out. Just get out of my office right now.
It does. I'm sorry. It does.
I'm gonna get a solo camera and mute your microphone. You want to talk about politics?
Ratings, I'm gonna bring it.
You know what? You have to plan for that, and I'll be out sick. But that's fine. Yes.
That is. Have you seen the thing on Facebook about the professor that failed all his class because using the socialistic principle of distributing grades?
No.
Well, the whole class, he said the class showed up, and the class was like, it's economics class, and in the class was like, you know what, capitalism is not the way, it needs to be, socialism is the way, and we need to be learning about socialism. And he got the whole class to agree. It's like, okay, well then we will distribute grades in here based on socialistic principles. We're going to do the experiment. And everybody was like, yes, yes, yes. So the first test came across, you had a certain amount that made A's, a bunch,
sure,
but you had some that made C's and D's, and when everything averaged out, everybody made a B. Everybody that made a B and below was happy, but the people who made A's were upset.
Sure.
So the next test came about, then people made, the highest grades were B's, and then the majorities were C's and D's, so then everything averaged out, and it was a C. Everybody had a C average. Well, now, people, the people had, below a C or C or below were happy, but the people that had B's and above were not happy. So then, the next exam happened, the majority of the people made D's and F's, and the grade averaged out to D, and in college, a D is a failure.
Yeah.
So then everybody was failing because the people on the upper end, why should I try harder when my grades are going to come down?
Going to come out
so what they did is they just kept trying harder, and the people that were getting the benefit, they didn't even have any initiative to try because, hey, look, I'm passing. So, but you can look it up online. It was pretty.
It's an interesting experiment, and largely speaking of drama, politics is drama.
Oh yeah, especially right now.
It's always is.
Always is.
But ultimately, you come to work for you.
Yeah.
Right? If you're showing up for the paycheck, something's going to go wrong somewhere, and you're not going to be happy, and it's not going to solve your issues. If you're showing up because you have to, again, bad results. If you're showing up to work because it's for you, then your standards apply. And that was what I always did. Well, not always. There was plenty of times I was grumpy and angry and yelled at people. Ultimately, the way I found peace and cut through all the noise was I have my standard that I do things. I don't care that the company is below mine. If it's above mine, I step up to what they want to do. Like Tom, he wants us to clean the bathrooms here. I want him to hire a cleaning crew. But you know what? He chips in. He does. So I up my standard and go, okay, fine. If I up my standard, you get up yours too. But I step up even though I hate cleaning and try to take care of that. But ultimately, I'd be like, here's $5. Get somebody to do it for me. But the answer is, I show up for medicine. I show up to help people to run those calls. And I want my truck a certain way, which is clean on the inside and out. And I want to know where all my stuff is. Yep. And I will do it differently than everybody else. But I've rarely had somebody complain that I left a truck in a disarray. You know,
that's one thing we used to get complaints on because people would change the truck around.
Yeah.
And people would complain, oh, the glue commenter is supposed to be here. Oh, this is supposed to be here. And my thing was that no, whenever you come on duty,
right,
you arrange the truck the way you want it, and that's the way you have it for your shift. Whenever you first clock in, that's the first thing you should be doing, is going to that truck. You remember when I was your captain, that's the first thing. Clock in, go to your truck. Get your truck ready for the shift.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Every day, make sure everything's there. Arrange it the way you want. Could care less how you arrange it. And then the next person, you just have to understand that whenever I come on duty, I'm going to check my truck and I'm going to fix it the way I want it.
Yeah. Man, going to the weather right now, this is my favorite time of the year to show up for duty. You pull the truck out of the bay, open up all the doors, and that cool air is coming in, and the morning sunshine, and you're just going through your bags and talking. And it was always a good start to the shift on this kind of day. And that's what people I think ultimately the noise aspect, right? The students calling, oh my God, the storm. And really, they either were truly fearful, which you got to get past that because you're going to go out and way worse than what we got here. Now, again, as you get closer to the heart of the hurricane, there is a demarcation line of those medics and firefighters did not run. They bunkered down until the danger passed. I get that. So outside of that line, you're going to run in ice and snow. You're going to run in thunderstorms and rain. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I have zero desire to get back on the truck was 95 degrees on I-20, right? You're just busting sweat. You're out there for 30 minutes while they're extricating the vehicle. And you can't go sit in your ambulance because it looks bad because they're working in turnout gear, by the way. I'm not just fussing about myself. And I'm in polyester on the side of the road. The firefighters are in turnout gear, having it worse, cutting this car. And then the flip side of that was cold pouring rain, and I'm having to come to your house because you missed your dialysis because you just didn't feel like going, and now you're having a little bit of a crisis, not life-threatening crisis, but now it's bad enough you just want to go to the hospital, and it's thunder and lightning. Oh, and I can't drive up your driveway, so I've got to protect you from the rain while I'm getting soaking wet and freezing. That's why Tom knows he has no fear of me getting I got my numbers back. But you want to get my number? He has no fear of me going to get on a truck because, as people say, bump that noise.
He doesn't understand that we're starting an ambulance service.
I will run it. I will run dispatch all day long.
I don't want in that.
But I'm not going to get on it.
We've got some guests coming up here soon that have started some their own services and stuff, and it's going to be really good. We'll talk about that so people can look forward to it here soon. But I do not envy them because I do not want to have anything to. I mean, starting an ambulance service has got to be like
it's heavy, man.
Heavy. I mean, that is doing the education part is bad enough, but the regulation and the red tape and everything you got to go through, and then put up with the crews complaining about the drug boxes on the left side of the truck instead of the right side of the truck. Or the
Norm told me to bring a rain jacket. He has no empathy. Screw him.
Yeah, Norm, why didn't you bring me a rain jacket? I want an umbrella.
Or at that level, they expect you to do everything for them at some point, right? The good employees, that's what makes a good employee from a bad employee, somebody who takes care of themselves. Now, I don't mean only looks out for themselves, but that, setting up the truck your way, that kind of thing. Because that, what I was going with the students crying about the rain, wanting us, and you tell me what to do. Should I come? Yeah, you should come because there's something I have to deal with anyway. I was a victim of myself, right? When I say I was a victim of this mentality, I would expect I'm going to show up to work and you're going to pay me and everything's going to go good. And when I didn't know where my money was going in taxes or insurance or any of that, I expected you were taking it. Why is my insurance paying my? Because I was handling my business, and that's what's wrong. Pretty much, if you want to overgeneralize with society as a whole, but I mean everything you're talking about is that. Why are they complaining? Because they want somebody to take care of it for them without taking responsibility.
Right.
What people fail to realize, when you take responsibility, you take the power. And I've looked a boss in the eye and said, fire me. I mean, I literally sat in their office, they were trying to write me some crap, and I had my boots on. So like, when I wore these paramedic boots to come in here, I came off a truck. I can wear them to get right back on a different truck. I don't care. Because I knew, not today. I got my runners, as they're called in our handbook.
He's running away, people.
Oh, I don't run. You know I don't run.
Yeah. That's like, what'd you tell me? Like, hey, Tom, I got my numbers. Now I'm going to leave and start my own school. See ya, thanks.
Yeah. I did. That was a great time to tell you.
Now's the right time to tell. Is this the right time to tell you that I'm...
So I'm just not that driven. That responsibility, right? You gotta responsibility for your own safety. You gotta know, because Laura made a good point. She lived in Hawaii. They'd have tsunami warnings, and everybody would panic. And it'd be at 2 foot by the time we got to. But as you see in Japan and Indonesia, you still have to have that stuff, because when it is on, I mean, what did Patrick say? You shouldn't go looking for zebras, but you always got to be on the aware for zebras. And of course, it's meaning the outlier, weird stuff that's coming. I'm trying to think of where we want to go next, because we're not done yet.
You okay?
No, I'm tired, man. It takes a lot to talk through this drainage, man, I tell you. I sound worse than I am. Yesterday, the last 2 days were the worst, and actually went bad, but it said sinus drainage, the weather changes, sinus drainage, and I do this about once a year. But, even getting the numbers, if I had just tried to do the schooling for you alone, it would not have worked. It would have failed.
I thought it was all for me.
It was because you came in and went, you're going to do this.
I would never do that, Charles. Never.
What's the Princess Bride? Liar!
Liar, liar, hands on fire. Hands on fire.
But I owned it. It's like, all right.
He did.
My path is, I want to do media. I want to do all this. I don't know where teaching is going to be. And I enjoy teaching. I mean, I love running my mouth, as you can see.
But you see the avenue it's opened up.
It is, but you don't know it at the time. And we still don't know what avenues it might open up. I mean, I still might do my own school, Norm. Just saying. We got to get through this instructor class first.
Let's all go start a school.
Yeah. Man, I see the headache you put up with. And I'll tell you, sitting where I'm sitting, I love going, no problem, students. They go right up to Steve and Tom. I don't have to deal with it. I'm good. I have no desire in any of that. But I decided, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it because it's somehow going to get me where I want to go. And in doing that, I think some people sign up for school here because they just think it's cool.
And they don't know where they're,
they don't know where they're going.
In life, people figure out where you want to go. It's like Stephen Covey, the person who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the first things you have to figure out is you have to begin with the end in mind. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? I mean, it's okay to say, like, when you're young, hey, I want to be a paramedic, okay? Well,
yeah.
Guess what? There's more to life than just being a paramedic. Where do you really want to be? Paramedic, is that your end goal? And if that's your end goal, put 110% into that. You put something into progressing yourself. There's being a paramedic. Then there's critical care paramedic. I want to be a flight medic. I want to work in the ER. I want to, become a nurse paramedic. I want to do that. You got to, and you continually reevaluate yourself all the time. But you've got to have some goal. Just don't just show up and expect the world to
Right.
rain down glory upon you. It's not going to happen that way. It takes hard work.
There's another book called 10,000 Hours. There's no such thing as an overnight sensation. It's basically
Right.
you got to practice and do it for 10,000 hours and that kind of thing. You got a rookie sitting in front of you, let's say you sat down every student as they graduated after you said, here's the results you've passed. And now I'm going to give you 5 minutes of advice as you go into the world. Along the lines of drama, what would be your advice to the students about to enter the world?
About to enter the world. One, don't overextend yourself.
Yeah.
Limit your overtime and have time for yourself.
Yeah.
And treat overtime as a bonus. Don't depend on it.
Because that lack of sleep and stress adds to the drama.
Yes.
And that's not drama you want. That's not a descriptor. That's a
The
thing.
lack of sleep, time away from your family that you're not going to get back, and the stress of always worrying about if that overtime's going to be there.
Yeah.
Because it's not always there. And when it's gone, and you're needing the money because you bought instead of buying the Ford Ranger or the little pickup truck, you went ahead and got the Ford F-350 dually with the heated and cooled seats and everything else, and the payment on it is like $800-900 a month, when you could have got something with a $250 a month payment. And now all of a sudden the overtime is gone.
Yeah.
And you're worried. That's something
Yeah.
you don't want. So be smart about the decisions you make. Know the decisions you make have consequences. Some are positive, some are negative.
Mm-hmm.
Look for the ones with more positives on it.
Yeah, everything in life has consequences. Laura, the pooter, says, one of the things I've learned that has really made a difference in my life is knowing that you can change things. Just because you're here now doesn't mean you have to stay here. And that was something that was something I wish I could have understood when I was a young EMT. Because I bounced to places, but even when I locked into a good place, I was like, this is it. I'm going to be a medic, and then I'm going to, and I have people going, you know what, I think I'm going to leave the field here in the next 3 to 4 months. I'm going to go do police work. Or like, it wasn't Patrick Carey himself, but like Patrick. Patrick was a paramedic, decided to essentially not fully leave the field, but go to what could be a different field. He became a police officer. And I remember thinking, whoever it was, I don't remember who it was at the time, I remember going, why would you ever want to leave this field? I don't understand, because all I could understand was the here now. I never understood what changed later. Margaret says, and keep in mind that life changes and your needs and wants will change what you want as far as a career, and what you want in life as well.
Yeah.
And those two go hand in hand,
Yeah. As
It's
you mature,
good.
what
Yeah.
you want when you're 20 is totally different than what you want when you're 40.
Yeah.
But, think about, hey, before you make that major life decision, how's that going to benefit me in the end? Towards what I really want. Like you were talking about earlier today about your partner that took the mag light and was going after somebody.
Oof.
Stop and think, well, how is this going to benefit me? Because it's not. So let it go.
Yeah. That's a tough one. My advice would always be find that moment of zen, find that place of peace. Jason Hale, something about meditation, and I've been getting more into that this past year. But a piece of advice gave to me when I needed it the most is I was stressed and I was fighting with my wife, and sudden life changes are horrible, and especially when you do it on purpose, it's really bad. And I had been working EMS, so 24 hours on, 48 off. My wife had been working at the hospital Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. till 11 p.m. And so she would have a whole day at some point to do whatever she wanted because I'd be at work. So her and her mom could go off to the mountains, whatever they wanted to do. When I was off, I'd have time to play my video games. And we were newlyweds. And that was perfect because you get this adjustment period of going from I'm living my own life to living a together life. The horribleness came in. I got frustrated with her job, treating her like crap. And I got frustrated with my job for various reasons I don't remember. One of them being money. And I ended up taking a 9-to-5 job and pressured her into taking a 9-to-5 job. So now we're home all the time together, and we did not know how to adjust to that. It was a sudden thing. We both changed at the same time. And all of a sudden we're on top of each other, and we're fighting, and it wasn't good. And my boss at the time, in that 9-to-5, sat me down, and he said, "You've got to have some time to yourself, period." And he described his time of being on his back porch. It's actually, his time is like my time now. It's been on that back porch with a cigar, a little scotch, maybe a fire pit. And he does that every day, more or less, until his wife gets home. There's an hour difference, and then they go out. And it's that reset. And you have to have that reset time for yourself. And it can come in the middle of a shift. There's been plenty of times I've just found a place to go and be away from my partner for 30 minutes. Just to reset your thoughts, just to process, to cut through the noise. Sometimes you got to eliminate the noise. Mm-hmm. Almost every station, at Newton, we used to go over to that other building before Med One bought it or whatever, and we'd sit on the steps. And every once in a while, I'd go look for Tom, and he'd either be in the bay sitting somewhere, or he'd be on the steps. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" "I'm just taking some time." And he'd just be out there chilling. He wouldn't be mad. He wouldn't be stressed. He'd just be out chilling because it's away from, you could kind of hear the radio if you had to, but you're away from all the noise of the station, all the stress of what's going on. You're just chilling. And you got to have that.
You got to.
Yeah. All right. We do have, are we sure that it's going to be the 26th that we're going to do that interview?
That's the plan. I think I put it, I may have to look in my...
Yeah. He doesn't work a 9-to-5 now. He works like 2 hours a day now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm the owner of the school. I show up when I want.
Yeah. I show up some days at 9 and don't leave here till 11.
So that plays into to this as you're looking up the information. One last piece of advice: your perception is not the truth. Okay, perception. If we painted a picture without people knowing why you were gone, perception is Tom hadn't been here all week. He came in one day for a few hours. He showed up today at lunch, and then we're both probably going to take off after the show or shortly after. Perception is Tom doesn't care. He's not here. Reality is Tom had to drive all the way to Marietta and did 2 full days of research at a military base, getting up at the crack of dawn to do it, and then drove home and still handled business after hours and before hours. That's perception.
On the weekend.
That's reality, rather. And on the weekend. So understand that you want to know why. Be bold. That's what I did. When I wanted to know why Tom was doing something, sometimes I was asked about it. Can't think of a specific story, but I'm sure there's a story where I went, "Why are you doing that?" And you're like, "Okay, here." And I go, "Oh, sorry." But I'd be challenging. But the boldness is we were afraid to ask. And if somebody yells at you for asking, if you ask appropriately, like, "Hey, Tom, I don't understand why you're not here in the office this week. Could you help me? I just want to do my job better." And you go, "Oh," and fill in the picture. If a boss yells at you when you're actually asking for educational reason, maybe you shouldn't be there. Yeah. So perception. But anyway, you found your information.
Friday the 26th. We'll be having Larry Richardson with us from AmeriPro EMS. And we're going to, get from his perspective, about being a leader in the industry, getting some inspiration from him about what inspired him to aspire to where he's at now, because he's taken something small and he's made it very big and very successful right now. So and the people that I know that work there are very happy there. So
it seems like, yeah.
So yeah, we're lucky to be able, our students get to go ride there. We've got some employees that work here and work there, and excited to have him on the show. Yeah.
And actually another guest that's coming up, he just popped into the chat room, Mark Kennedy.
Yes.
Is going to be on the show. Talk about why he's going to be on the show. Besides the fact that he's probably a cool dude.
He's one of our graduates now. Their fire department is in Nauvoo, Illinois, and they came down here to take our advanced EMT class, which is an honor. And I was like, wow, you're coming from Illinois to Georgia.
It wasn't one person. It was a class of people.
It was about 4 of them, I think.
There
3 or 4 of them who came down, and he has since earned his paramedic, and he has also become a leader in on the national level for EMS, and has pushed through some legislation through the federal government authorizing $20+ million in grants towards EMS, and we'll have him on the show to talk about what it is he's done, what inspired him, and how he got started.
And maybe talking about adding a line about a grant for schools, you know, especially private individual schools. No, it's going to be a great show, and I definitely look forward to having Mark on and talking to him about that. We got a big Halloween event coming up, March 31st. Bring your families. It's going to be church fairgrounds meets haunted house, and it's going to be divided. You'll have your choice. So there's tons of family games. There's tons of family friendly events to do, and candy to give out. Festival type atmosphere, right? With some decorating. We got inflatables. We're going to have fake cobwebs and skeletons up. You know, those kind of things. It'll be Halloween themed.
It'll be fun.
And then you got your choice. You can either leave out of the festival, or you can go through the zombie apocalypse. And the people playing this really love scaring things and doing scary stuff. So
it'd be more than just Charles standing there.
No, I'm not even going in there. You know, one, it didn't typically scare me because we've been in some scary situations on the truck. But two, I don't know. I just like just no hard pass. So I'll be like, y'all, good luck. Go in there. We're gonna have them sign a waiver, I think it is, and
small one,
all that stuff.
Just because it's gonna be dark.
Oh, shut up, Laura. Okay, Laura said, will there be balloons? Because I hate balloons. They freak me out. Balloons are a bane to the universe, right? You know, you ever listen to a balloon? It's like dead space. Air should be in there. Air is in there. There's no movement. There's no noise. It's just dead space. There's something wrong with that. It's a vacuum. And no, fucking hate balloons. So no. But come, bring your family, popcorn, and we're raising money. It's a free event.
Yeah, free event.
Free event. But raising money for Cooper's family.
Yeah, asking just for donations. That's all. You know, not barring anybody. If you don't have any money or whatever, we want you to come. Want you to have fun. But you know, if you can have something to give, please give.
Apparently I said March. I meant October 31st.
October.
I don't know what I said. I'm tired at this point. It's gonna be October. Because two people are like, March? What are you talking about, March?
We have Halloween in March.
Yeah, we like to be different here.
We are different here.
October 31st, it is part of the Main Street Square event.
Yes, Laura Brain.
And bring your families. We're still looking for volunteers, students or employees who want to volunteer to work it with us. We're all volunteering our time to do that.
Because everything's going to Cooper.
Yes, because every last penny that we can will go to Cooper. And bring change, bring some dollar bills, bring something to give to the family. And then we've got a class starting November 12th.
November 12th.
EMT class. You want to get in the field. You know somebody. You're watching this. You know somebody who would be perfect in the field or has been looking. Send them our way. We got a class starting then. And then we have an advanced registry if you're finishing up your advanced class. November 14th. November 14th is the deadline to be registered to take the National Registry Advanced Psychomotor.
On December 1st.
On December 1st.
But you got to be registered by the 14th.
But hey, you want to become an advanced student? December 5th. We got one firing off.
One firing off.
Right before we close the school.
Yeah. You'll have the break time to get ahead of your studies.
Yeah, it's a good time to start, in my opinion.
And just so that, you can knock it out.
So, that is it. You got anything else to
Hey, just saying hi to Lisa Pope. We were talking about you earlier.
We were talking about you earlier. We were talking about Jasper County a lot earlier, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we need to get some of these folks that we
know,
Lisa and everybody, to come up here and be on the show and talk about some old times. And
absolutely. I've been talking about paramedic story time for a while. I just never pulled the trigger on it. But maybe we can plan on once a month having one of our old medic friends come in and just, that's all we do is share stories. Remember when we did this and did that and, that kind of thing. So, all right. Well, we'll be back next week at 2:30 p.m. Eastern here on Facebook. And we've been posting videos, posting pictures. Follow our Facebook page here so you get a notification when we go live. But also you see all the cool stuff we do during the week. Instagram is Georgia Institute of EMS. And we're doing stuff there, too.
Tell Charles to get a haircut.
I do need a haircut. I got to do it. Oh, that's not in the handbook. That's harassment. You can't tell me that.
See ya.